Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Back 10 Predictions from the All Out Studio. I'm your host, Kyle Amor. Joining me this week is All Out Rugby League journalist Josh McAllister and a man who is none other than a former NRL Grand Final winner, current St Helens winger, is Kyle Feldt. Kyle, welcome along to the Prediction Show. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good stuff, good stuff. Right, well, look, before we get into it, again, I'm going to keep banging that drum until we get towards that 10,000 subscribers. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so we can keep on bringing you everything that you like to see and hear here at All Out Rugby League Back 10 shows. So we're going to go through this week the Challenge Cup games. There is 8 in total. We usually have our set of 6, but there's been a dodgy kick that's gone in and we're going to go for a 7 tackle set. We're going to run through 7 games before we pick our game of the week, which is Wigan against Bradford. Just before we get going though, special mention to Stuart last week, who predicted that the Bradford Bulls would beat Kyle Feldt's St Helens. He predicted 22 points to 18. Although he wasn't too far off in terms of the scoreline, he doesn't register any points. So close but no cigar. Myself and Paul Cook, we got the St Helens victory right, so we collect a point each. So again, as we get through the show, we'll get you guys involved once again in the comments and predict the scoreline for Wigan against Bradford, and we'll dive into that a little bit earlier on. Well, let's have a look how this weekend's results have affected the Super League table. Warrington and Wigan sat on top, of course. Warrington still with a game in hand, but still have their 100% record intact. And then right at the foot of the table, Luke Robinson doing it tough with injuries at the moment. His side have yet to register a single win of the competition so far. Let's get into the 7 tackle set for this week. Wakefield against Leeds. Felty, difficult place to go, Wakefield. Leeds flying at the moment.
Yeah, Wakey is tough to go to. They are struggling with injuries at the moment, but I'm going to have to say Leeds.
You'll go for Leeds, yeah?
I'll go Leeds.
Leeds
Josh?
as well. And Makasiva, at the minute, he's on fire. I imagine you've had a few outings against him over in the NRL, and you will this season. But Leeds, Sivo's just on fire, isn't he?
Yeah, look, I'm going to go Leeds as well. But just while we all think that it's going to be Leeds across the board, you mentioned Micah Sivo. He's got 9 tries in 3 games. Felty, just very quickly, as an older player, do you still at the start of the season want to finish top of the try scoring list?
It's nice to be up there, but it's as a winger you want to be, I guess, top 3. So, but yeah, 9 tries in 3 games. That's unheard of.
Well, there's a cluster of you on. There's a cluster of you on 5 at the moment, so you're second on that list. So get your finger out and you maybe get past Mikasivo. Moving on, York against Keighley. At York, I was at the game on Friday night against Warrington. A crazy game. You know, Warrington should have had total control twice in the game, but York again fighting back like all these promoted sides are doing. I think York completely blow away Keighley, if I'm honest, Josh.
Yeah, York with the spirit and that performance, the resilience, determination. They're surprising everyone this season, so I'm going to go with York.
Felty?
Yeah, York by a good margin, I reckon.
Yeah, clean sweep across there. Moving on to a game that may be another blowout. Not too far from York, though, but Gould take on Warrington Wolves. Felty, you probably have never heard of Gould, have you?
No, I haven't. I've just heard of a ghoul in Fallout. That's about it, the TV show. So I'll go Warrington.
Yeah. Josh?
Yeah, you've got to go Warrington, haven't you?
Yeah, no, look, Kai Taylor blistering again. Sam Stone, 38 tackles, 2 tries, try assist. Good numbers for the back rower. So, yeah, I think Warrington as well. Moving on to a game that, well, it's a repeat of yesterday's, isn't it? Huddersfield against KR. Huddersfield again picking up injuries. Like Luke Robinson must be. You know, you think about what happened to him last year as well with all them injuries. I don't know whether it's something that they need to make an internal inquest into what they're doing behind the scenes. But the number of injuries they've had is shocking, and it's just really put him on the back foot, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's an injury nightmare there at the minute, and he revealed yesterday that Leo Kudjo and Liam Finn had to put the boots back on in training to make up the numbers. I mean, that's how bad it is. So it's going to be another tough weekend for them, I think. I'm going to go with the Robins.
Yeah, I'll have to go Robbins there. It's
Yeah.
easy done, that one.
Well, of course, Willie Peters furious with his side over in Vegas, and you expected a comeback, didn't you, or a reaction, and they got that yesterday. And I imagine, is there a danger though of when you've played the team the week before that you get sort of a bit too confident, Felty, that you can just repeat that again?
I wouldn't say confidence or arrogance. It's just something that you've got to move on with.
Okay. So we're all going. We've yet to disagree. This one might throw one in. Lee against Hull FC, two sides again, busted at the moment. Felty, I'm going to throw you under the microscope. Who wins this one?
It's a tough one to pick, to be honest. Like you said, they're both running low on troops. But where's the game played at?
Lee.
At Lee, yeah. So I'll have to say Lee. Lee are tough to beat at home, no matter who they got in the jersey.
Yeah, I have to agree with him there as well, the Leopards. But as you say, both sides that are hampered by injuries, and that seems to be the topic of Super League 5 weeks in. But it's going to be Lee for me.
It was a good game, wasn't it, against Catalan the other day? Look, I'm just going to throw one out there so we're not all agreeing. I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'm going to go John Cartwright's men to get over the top of Lee at Lee. Cass v Saints, Felty.
Controversial. Yeah, obviously us. I'll take Saints there.
Right, well, we'll leave him out of that. Josh, go on, pick the bones of part of this game.
Yeah, I'm not just saying it because he's next to us, but St Helens. I mean, Castleford are showing some signs of improvement, aren't they? But I just like the way St Helens are playing under Paul Rowley, so I'm going to go with the Saints.
Yeah, there is a danger though of going to Castleford and getting dragged into a dogfight early on, so although I expect St Helens to win, if Castleford can just rattle the cage early on, they might find themselves in a bit of a tricky game. But I do think Saints come out of that and advance through. Catalan v Oldham, I'll go first to Catalan. I think there's all sorts been happening at Oldham this year, and a bit of unrest there, and I think the Dragons will comfortably sweep by Oldham.
Yeah, I'll say Catalans as well.
Yeah, that's 3 for the Dragons.
Well, that was very quick fire. Some blowout scores we do believe in there. You never know with this game, though. It might prove us all wrong. But that's all that we've got in terms of our 7 games before our game of the week, which is going to be Wigan against Bradford. Remember, guys at home, we want your predictions to see if you can do a bit better than Stuart did last week, who managed to collect 0 points. A valiant effort, though. Remember, if you get the team correct, you get 1 point. The margin, or the correct margin, you'll get yourself 3 points, and if you can get the exact scoreline, you will come away with 5 points. So again, throw your comments in there, and while you're at it, swipe left and hit that hype button as well. It'll do us a big favour here at Back 10. Right, Josh, Wigan, let's start with the home team. A couple of weeks ago when they played against Lee, I couldn't see anybody, if they replicate that, going with them. They looked incredible. They have lost Jay Field, and now they've lost Bevan French, and we know the numbers and the statistics around when those two don't play, what that turns Wigan into.
Yeah, they can struggle without the 2 superstars, can't they? I mean, that's another big name, Bevan French, the hamstring injury there, that is a concern. Matt Pete will speak to media. That's a big concern. He came off in the closing exchanges against Toulouse, but Wigan are just firing at the minute, aren't they? The forwards are great. I'm really impressed by Sam Walters. Luke Thompson's playing really well. Zach Eckersley's killing it on the wing. So the fullback then is who goes in there and replaces him. Zach Eckersley can play fullback. They've got a youngster coming through the ranks. I think he was named in the 21-man squad in Noah Hodkinson. Maybe he gets a run out because of the Challenge Cup game. But you like the way Wigan are playing at the minute.
Me also like the way Bradford are playing as well, right?
Absolutely.
But just on Field and French, how difficult and how important are they to Wigan?
Yeah, like you said, with them in the team, the winning streak's unreal. But without them, they struggle, and they are 2 big names to fill shoes for. And and they are, I guess, the main point of attack for them as well. Once they get together, it's pretty hard to stop. And when they get a roll on with their big middles, it's even harder to stop them.
Well, look, let's have a little word on Bradford as well, because I almost feel a bit disrespectful now. I mean, look, it is only round 4 and we are entering into a Challenge Cup, but saying punching above the weight, I think if we go back a month ago, we would say that they're punching above the weight, right? What were you most impressed with Bradford on the weekend?
I think the way that they really stayed in the fight, really, once we got the early try, they rallied around each other and I guess tried to wrangle back the game, which they did, and they're good at throwing the footy around. It's the hardest thing to defend, like I said. It's tough, and the way they can just drag you down to their level, and just try and put you in that dogfight. It's hard to get out of in that continuous flow football. If you can get into that, I think the better team will come out there.
And they showed as well, though, that they can do it when the chips are down. You know, they were the red card, and they had to finish the last sort of 20 minutes of the game, was it? With only 12 on the field, so they're turning up for one another, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. I don't think it would be harsh or disrespectful to say that the 3 promoted teams are already exceeding expectations. You know, there's a lot to ask to put together a Super League squad in the weeks that they had, and they are competing in every game they've played. I know, as you mentioned, York fought to the end. Bradford fought to the end. They are really, Toulouse fought to the end. They are exceeding expectations. So, yeah, I've been really impressed by Bradford. And you say there that they like to throw the ball around. Obviously, they're coached by Kurt Haggerty, who was Paul Rowley's assistant at Salford, and that's the kind of the systems that they played. So, you can probably see similarities there in the way that they chuck the ball around and like to play edge to edge.
And Ryan Sutton's been a good pickup for them, hasn't he? He's been pretty solid through the middle of the field there for them. Look, Wigan's record at home is... it's second to none, isn't it? You know, but you cast your mind back to last season. Felt they got knocked out at this stage by Hull, I think it was. Hull went there, and so they're not unbeatable on their own patch. And again, you know, the huge storyline heading into this one that'll give Bradford some hope is that the 2 most dangerous weapons in the competition aren't there. You know,
yeah.
So there's a real opportunity here for the Bulls.
It's a great opportunity to take on Wigan right now if you're Bradford, and I think going there, it is tough to go there, and if any team is going to get up for it, it's going to be Bradford. Like we spoke before, it's a good game, really good game to keep your eye on if you're a fan, and if you're a Wigan fan, I'd be looking even closer to be honest.
Okay, right. I'll go with you. Give us a score. Give us your score line. Who wins this game and by how many?
I'm going to say 28-14, Bradford.
Bradford turn Wigan over 28-14. Wow.
Interesting.
Go on then.
Yeah, I was 26-14, but to Wigan, so we're kind of on the same lines of the game, but just different outcomes for the teams. And just to mention on Bevan French, he's so fast and skillful, but I think what he's really proved in the last few weeks is how strong he is as well. I think he carried a couple of bodies over the line to score his try. He's such an influential player, and he's so strong. So it is going to be a big miss, but I just think Wigan are firing at the minute, and they'll be okay without him for now.
Well, look, you know, Felty, your prediction will go down certainly well with St Helens fans, no doubt about it. Might get a few boos at your return to the DW, or the Brick Community Stadium rather, later on in the season. Look, I'm going to go for a Wigan win. I'm going to go for a 20 points to 12 Wigan win. I think it'll be. I don't think it'll be as free flowing with tries, given that those 2 are missing, and I just think that they'll still be solid enough to get over Bradford. So don't forget to let us know in the comment section below your scores, your predictions, and see if you can help your part in terms of knocking our guest co-host and myself off the leaderboard. We'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to fire them across. Also as well, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything here at All Out Rugby League. Finally, from myself, Josh and Kyle, whatever you're doing this week, enjoy the Challenge Cup. We will be back, of course, next week in preparation for round 5 from the Super League. But for myself, take care. Bye-bye for now.